or you can cite Miranda versus Arizona or Miranda versus the U.S. Do we have anything? Yeah, Miranda versus Arizona.
Yeah,
and I believe it went all the way up to the Supreme Court, which made it the law of the land.
Yeah, I haven't seen the guy's name yet. His first name doesn't really.
I mean, it's not important,
right? It was Miranda,
but I believe it was a lot. I think he was a Mexican.
Good.
I believe his name was Carlos Miranda.
Oh, it is. Believe this is it. Ernesto Miranda.
Okay, I'm sorry. It was what? Say it again.
Ernesto Miranda.
Ernesto Miranda, which he was a Mexican. All right.
Yeah.
I mean, you can take time out and you can read it for yourself. Okay.
Yep.
Anyway, that's called common law.
Right.
Which is case law. How can I say? Which when it went to the Supreme Court, it was interpreted as the Fifth Amendment. Okay.
Right.
Which made it constitutional.
Didn't that common law go back to the Magna Carta?
Yeah, well, common law before the Constitution came out, you had common law. What was common?
Right.
Common law is what's ever common, but they put it in case law. All right. Now, what happened was, if I can remember correctly, I believe it was Erie Tompkins versus Erie Railroad.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And in Tompkins versus Erie Railroad, basically, in that case law, it did away with common law and the Constitution. Mm-hmm. And what it did was overturn another case called, I believe it's Swift versus Tyson. All right. And in the case of Swift versus Tyson, you had the right of common law and Constitution. That's why you have common law marriage.
Yep, I got the
Well,
information.
in 1938, the eighth time that they had the Constitution, New York Constitutional Convention.
Yep.
Read it. Go right to it, brother. It'll tell you the last time they had a Constitutional Convention was in 1938. So read all the times. Go right to it. We see the list of dates from 1777, I think it is. Read that right there.
This is from Wikipedia. New York Constitution. New York State has held 9 constitutional.
9. I said 8. 9. Go ahead.
9 constitutional conventions in 1776 to 1777, 1801.
Now the U.S. Constitution came about in what year?
1776.
No. 1787, I think it was.
Oh, okay.
1787. You can look that up.
Okay.
So you had a New York Constitution in New York about more than 10 years before the federal government. Why? Because the federal government was trying to take over the contiguous states, man, and turn all the states into a federalized states. Go ahead.
This is Isaiah chapter 10, verse 1. Woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees and that write grievousness which they have prescribed, to turn aside the needy from judgment and to take away the right from the poor of my people, that widows may be their prey and that they may rob the fatherless. And what will you do in the day of visitation and in the desolation which shall come from far? To whom will you flee for help, and where will you leave your glory?
You got more?
This is Psalms chapter 94, verse 20. It says, shall the throne of iniquity have fellowship with thee, which frameth mischief by a law?
And that's that. In other words, that's why, going back to what Nate said, you got to get married. You got to get a marriage certificate. If you don't get married and you die, your woman can't get your body and all that. Well, you should question what happened to the common law and what happened to the Constitution.
Well, that's mischief.
That's mischief. All right.
Well, what about Adam? Did Adam have to go and get a Did Adam have to go and get a marriage certificate?
No, that came from Esau, man.
To marry Eve?
Because back in the day, when you got with a woman, when King David got a woman, did he have a? Well, wait, I can't touch you. Bessie, until we have that ceremony.
Right.
You get a woman out in the field, Papa,
Right.
or like what's his name, Nabal.
Yep.
He didn't have a marriage ceremony
Yep.
for Nabal, for Nabal's wife, which is Abigail.
Yep.
He just popped her,
Yeah.
and once he popped her, it was known. Well, that's David's woman.
Right.
That's David's woman. Don't mess with David's woman.
Con.
Okay.
And then the woman that was sought for him when he was on his deathbed, the Issacharite
that's right.
virgin, young
That's right,
virgin.
the Shulamite.
He didn't. He didn't
Yep.
need a marriage certificate.
Yeah, they didn't sign no. They didn't get no blood test and say, well, wait a minute, we got to prop David up and let him get married before we can see if his penis rise up.
Yeah, works.
Hey, so
Yeah, right.
now when I saw that part of that, I saw maybe 20, maybe 30-something minutes of it of Nate, and I said, man, this guy is causing these guys to stay down here in Egypt, man.
Yeah.
He's causing it. When you get married, all right, when you get married, so-called legally married, you're making the state a third party.
But he's an officer of the state.
He's an officer of the state.
Nate
He is
is
an
an
officer of the state.
Yeah.
And he'll die an officer of the state. Whether he retires or not, he keeps his sidearm, man. Because you're always a cop, man. Then when you die, they're gonna bring out the bagpipes on your ass, man. And they might put your police uniform back on you, man. You know? So I said, man, Nate, your men, I ran into some of your men. We had a good rapport and all that. But them guys, man, as much as I like them guys, they were cool guys, them guys are straight up zombies, man. Yeah, you had that hat. And they'll have a guy playing the bagpipe, man.
The casket.
In the casket, man. Because is your wife going to take your body and put you in a sepulcher, nigga? Hell no. Ain't nobody. Well, now they got mausoleums. But the scripture ain't talk about a mausoleum, man. The scripture talk about sepulchers, man. And you better take his ass back to Israel. That's right. You better take his bones back to Israel.
Be buried with his fathers.
And find where your father. They gonna have a problem right there because he was once a Gadite, but now he's a Judite, man. Anyway, my point is this. That whole thing about getting married and getting a license with the state, you're making the state a third party, man. Okay? That's all you're doing, man. That's all you're doing. Yeah. And like I said, in 1938 was the ninth constitutional convention. Yeah. They never made any new ones. And if you can get you the original Constitution for the state of New York, it'll go back to 1938.
Yeah, it says it here. It says the 8th Constitutional Convention of 1938, unlike all other state conventional conventions before, did not actually create a new constitution or a new version, but just substantially modified the older.
So they create a whole new constitution, and they call it the Constitution for the State of New York, which is federal, not New York State Constitution. So now you should put one and one together. Wait a minute, 1938, they no longer recognize common law marriages. 1938, that was the last New York Constitutional Convention, where they changed the Constitution altogether, and they entitled it Constitution for the State of New York.
Yeah, according to this,
federal jurisdiction. That's why they don't honor common law. You can be with a woman for 20 years.
Yep.
Everybody knows that you've been with that woman for 20 years. You in the same household. You share the same common things. But he dies or she dies, and you can't get the body. Or the possessions.
Yeah, according to this, they're saying the last one was in 1967.
Yeah, but they didn't change it.
Yeah,
they probably changed it, modified it, or changed it slightly.
Yeah.
But when they called it the Constitution for the State of New York, that's when it became federal, man.
Now,
okay.
Now to back you up over here, under common law marriage, New York, to show you what Elder Torah is telling you is correct.
Because there's states, even to this day, I think there's 10 or 11 states that honor common law marriages.
Yeah.
Why did New York change in 1938 when the Constitution was changed to the Constitution of the State of New York?
And it's a money thing. I'm sure it's a money thing.
Actually, it's a slave thing.
Oh.
It's a slave
Well,
thing.
money is a factor in
when
there,
you
too.
make right, when you money's always a factor in it. Yep.
Money's always.
And slavery, because when you, like for example, you got a woman, you've been living with her for 7-8 years. Somebody calls the cops because furniture's getting moved around, right?
Yeah.
Hey, the cops come. They want to hear her story and your story, right? Let's say she's pushing on you, right? And you kind of push her off you. That's all they want to hear.
Yeah.
If you're married, they locking your ass up.
Yeah.
On the other hand, if you're not married, they really can't do nothing. And they'll tell you that, man.
Yeah.
They'll say, if you were married, even though you pushed her off, you.